Okay, the final one of these guys is our get ratings. Now, before we make too many modifications to this, what we're gonna do is stick this guy in our includes folder because it's actually being called from our includes folder the um, in the review.php page, which you can see right here in these XHR getters. And again, this is just dynamically updating things based on the ratings that are made. So every time someone submits a rating, that review changes, and you don't have to refresh the page, which is pretty neat. So go in the get ratings. Now I've already defined this stars function right here. And what this is really doing is it's going to populate the number of stars that, like, based on the current average of the rating that we have. We're going to end up calling this. But the point is, we need to get a rating first. We're gonna pass we're gonna pass it an average, which is what this AV is right here. So if something is 3.5 stars, for example, it's going to be 3.5 stars. It'll actually show you like half a star on there for the rating. It's only the number of stars. It's not going to give you like empty stars or like gray ones or whatever. If it doesn't have any ratings, I believe it'll give you gray stars. All right. Anyway, I wrote this like last year, so we'll also see when we actually go and call it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the ID, which you guys should be pretty familiar with at this point in the lab, because we're going to use that get global variable and get the ID. And then we're able to actually call the DB handler. We're in the DB handler folder right here, so we're just going to be able to use that. That's another good reason to move it into the includes folder. Sorry, the next one of these that we're going to define is going to be our average SQL statement. So you can do some basic mathematical functions with SQL, getting the average, getting the count, min, max. There's a series of other ones right there. And it's generally pretty decent. So what we're going to do is we're going to define this SQL AVG with a capital A in average. And it's going to be select. We're going to get the AVG of the rating num. And it's going to be as AVG rate from reviews where item ID equals, in single quotes, $ID. And let's see. We can order this. We can limit it. I'm gonna limit it to 4. Order by rev date in descending. So the most recent one's first. And we're gonna limit it to 4. The most recent 4. We can make this 5. That's fine. We're gonna get a count, SQL count, and that's gonna be very similar to this statement up above here. But we can't really copy and paste it because there's gonna be some notable differences. We're gonna get the count of the rating num. That. All right, and then this is going to be aliased as total from reviews where this part can be copied and pasted. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run a query, and it's going to get the average. And then I'm going to do another one, and it's going to get me the count of all these guys here. So I'm just going to do query and query 2. All right, so query is going to be my SQLi underscore query. That's going to be con from our DB handler and $SQL AVG. All right, now I'm going to make query 2, and this is going to be SQL count. So I've got those queries run, and then my first row right here is going to be my SQLi underscore fetch array. I can autocomplete that. And it's going to be query. And then $row2 is going to be basically the same thing, but it's going to be query 2. I could have named these more intuitively, but I guess I just got lazy. Anyway, the average is going to be our average rate. And this is going to be from running the first one. So we're going to return a result called average rate. Anyway, is going to be round. We're going to round this to 1 decimal point. So the first thing is going to be what we're rounding, which is going to be row AVG rate, all caps, just like it is right here, and comma 1. All right, great. So we're gonna give ourselves a little container in here, and this is going to actually have the results. I'm not gonna have this bit right here. Anyway. All right. I'm going to do another echo statement in single quotes. Like that. And I'm going to go back to my HTML right here so I can be lazy. And so it'll give me some autocomplete stuff. And I'm going to make a div container. And the class is going to be container. And the style for this guy, is going to be text align center. Love the autocomplete. So this first H1 right here is just going to be our average. So I'm going to put single quotes, 2 periods, $AVG. Because remember, if we go back to our get ratings right here, we just defined this. All right, and then we're going to have another little div in here, and this is just going to have the number of our ratings. So I'm going to do another div. Class for this one's going to be container And the style is going to be text align center. Oh wait, sorry, margin bottom. I was looking at the one above. Margin bottom. That's going to be 10 pixels. Everything within this container will be text align center, so there's no reason to specify it again. All right, cool. And then in between here, we're actually going to call our stars function, which we have right here, which I gave to you guys. This is going to give us our stars. So single quotes, 2 periods, stars, $, AVG. And then outside of our div is going to be a little p tag, and that's going to have the number of ratings. And this will also help us easily view whether our rating system is working. In single quotes, in 2 dots, we're going to have another one of those round functions. And $, row 2. And then we're going to have our total. So this is where the count comes in. Round that to 1. It shouldn't need to be rounded though. This will just be a number. Anyway, when you're done with that, copy and paste it. Again, I'm just going to pause right here so you guys can take a look. This is the div container going on right here. And I'll move it into this echo statement right here. And if I go back here, lo and behold, there's our 3 stars. I'm going to just continue adding stuff. If you don't set one, it's going to be whatever the last star was in, or star rating was in the local storage. So anyway, you can see the numbers fluctuating, which is pretty cool.